Okay, hi, my name's Rob. I'm one of the developers on the PC9. As you already know, in a few moments we'll get Dev and Ori 1.5 started. We are in prepared 3D at the moment, obviously, and I'm paused. Why am I paused? Well, as we saw in Dev Ori 1, one of the big features of the advanced is that we're adding a complete failure system, which, some of you guys may have seen. The design document for it is actually available, so you can jump on here and have a look at the design document I did for the failure system. It goes through all the different items that are planned. At the moment, I've only got the control surface values done and the timer system, but that's what we're going to look at properly in this dev diary. The other thing you need to be aware of is we found a couple of little bugs with the model and the like during this that were not evident with the original release, simply because they weren't doing what we are doing now. We're aware of them. We'll deal with them as we've got time. And once again, this PC9 Advanced is on a Rob time frame. That means that it gets developed Rob has a chance to develop it based on a lot of factors, mainly my health. So this could get done in a month, it could get done in 6 months, it could take 12 months. There's a lot of factors. At the moment, it's progressing slowly but steadily. So, with all that caveat set, let's have a look at some stuff here. This is the current instructor's failure control panel. Why do I call it an instructor's failure control panel? Well, because for the general pilot, once the PC9 Advanced ships, you probably will never come into this panel. The idea is to do a lot like a certain other company does and have the aircraft react to how you fly the plane. You overstress it a lot, it'll take notice of it. You hot start it a lot, the engine will take notice of that. If you land roughly constantly, eventually, the aircraft might decide that your gear is not going to work properly because of it. It's also going to take a look at little bits of the systems. At the moment on this panel we have the control surface here done. This is set up so that an instructor or a student or an enthusiast, whatever, whoever is using the product, can specify specific failures to occur. As I showed in Dev Diary 1, that can be set up by clicking on any of these, and the symbol changes from S, which means basically that it's safe, it's operational, you don't have a problem, through to A, which is that it's been armed but has not failed yet, and F, which is, okay, my system's failed. In the case of the control surfaces, we've got jams and snapped cable runs for your ailerons, elevator and rudder. It should be fairly obvious what's going to happen with these. as they happen, a jam will jam your systems. A snapped cable run is going to mean that you've got no control over it. And we can jam the flaps at any point in their travel, which can get very interesting. The other option we've got here is, you'll notice we've got two numbers down here. This number at the moment tells you how far into the arm cycle you are in minutes, and this number is how long you've got set in minutes to your failures. Finally, this little button down here allows you to reset all your failures. So, that being said, we are going to arm a right aileron failure, a left flap failure, and just for kicks here, we'll snap the rudder cable for the moment. We'll look at elevator and aileron in a moment. We're going to set this timer to 1 and pause. We're going to leave this little panel open, so obviously at the moment I can fly the aircraft happily however I want. I'm going to do a couple of things that I probably shouldn't do, and we're going to have a peak 3D pause for some reason, but you'll see a minute after I did the failure we have just failed. We just had all those systems fail. So if I expand this out again, we've got a failure on my right aileron that's jammed. So while you're not actually, well, it's going to move because at the moment the animations are running off certain values that I can't modify at the moment. Basically I'm limited in how far I can roll, and you can see that here. I've got the joystick hard over and we're not getting anywhere near the roll rate that we'd normally get with the PC9. The other thing is I've got no rudder control. My rudder's twitching around a little bit because it's flapping around in the wind. And you'll notice I set my flaps to take off before we failed the system. The reason for this is we're going to flick to the outside view, and you'll notice we've got the flaps down. Now this is one of the areas where we noticed a small little bug with the 3D model, so you're going to have to excuse when I put up my flaps that it's going to look a little weird here. Okay, so we have a jammed left flap. The right flap's gone up. It went up fine. The left flap on the other hand has not, and you can see there, you can actually see the rudder there flapping around in the wind, doing its own little thing. It'll adjust based on speed, so the faster I go, the more the rudder will actually smooth itself out. It'll twitch less, simply because obviously as you get faster the airflow is going to adjust. Now if I unfail this system, it instantly returns to working. It's fixed itself. if I unfail my aileron here, you'll see we've got the full roll rate back. And if I unfail my rudder, we've got the rudder back. Like I said before, we can jam the rudder, so let's get some right rudder happening here. Now I'm going to actually just go straight for a fail. So we've got a failed right rudder. Doesn't matter how much I kick my pedals around here. We've got a hard over occurring, which is making it very interesting trying to fly straight. You see why planes fall out of the sky because of it. With the elevator, we'll get ourselves into a climb here. Okay, I've got no pitch control at all now because we just failed that. I will note though, I do still have trim control. I've got to talk to some people and find out if I lost the control runs to the elevator, if I lose trim as well. I'm not 100% certain how trim operates, especially on the elevator in the PC9. I'm going to have to ask a couple of the subject matter experts on that. Because at the moment I can actually use the trim system with, I will admit, with some fairly heavy trims, but we can use the trim to level the system out over time. And there we go, we've got all of the nose down trim happening there. So if we snap this cable back here, I've got no control now, but if we slow down, you'll see that we've got a little bit of jerkiness happening, and in this case it's tending to give us a nose up tendency. It's random on what direction it's going to tend to move towards when the control runs snap. Partly because in the case of a lot of these, the actual surfaces are counterweighted, so they're designed to return to neutral. So it makes sense that they're not going to actually move that far if you snap the cables. And finally, just to show how some of these failures work again, so we've got the left flap jammed, and if I extend my flaps here, we're just getting a right flap extension. The left is jammed up, which of course is giving us a lot more lift on the right wing, which is creating a roll. And if you actually take this down to take off, no amount of roll input will actually fix it. You may as well eject from the aircraft, or put your flaps up if you can. Another example we'll show here is we can independently jam these. So obviously we have a jam in the up position on the left flap. If we now jam that right flap, I've just told my flap system to go to takeoff flaps, and you'll see the flaps are refusing to move. And then we can just reset all the failures over here. So that's a quick look at the failure system for the PC9 that's coming up. And well, eventually, and I'll keep getting the dev diaries out as I can. The next set that we're looking at doing, well, that I'm looking at doing at the moment, is the landing gear failures. So this one will be an interesting dev diary. And then likely the prop and engine failures system. So that'll probably be dev diary 2. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.